There are a lot of different community aquarium fish out there, and a lot of them are great. In fact, I've already created a top 10 video on my favorite community aquarium fish. Check it out if you're interested. However, I have yet to talk about some of the worst community aquarium fish in the hobby. I'm well aware there's a lot of videos out there on this subject, but I wanted to make this video as I feel a lot of them include full-on aggressive fish that aren't labeled as community fish. Because of that, this list is only going to include fish that I have seen classified as community fish, but do not fit well into that description. These fish range from being aggressive, overbearing, too large, or a combination of all three. For some of these fish, I don't dislike them. In fact, some of them I quite enjoy, but they just may not fit into the community setting all that well. I'm Fishman2114, and this is my list of the top 10 worst community aquarium fish. At number 10, we have goldfish. Goldfish are a common pet store fish, and they have a lot of different varieties, from your comet goldfish to your black moors. I want to start off by saying I do not dislike goldfish. Goldfish have a place in the hobby, but they often struggle to fit into a community fish role. They are a cold water species, so that alone separates them from tropical species. Goldfish can also be quite large, especially your common comets, and on top of this, they are an extremely messy fish. They create a lot of poop. Putting all these things together, they don't make the greatest community fish. Goldfish would be much better off being in a 55-gallon or larger tank with other goldfish. I will say I have seen people successfully pair goldfish with feeder rosy minnows, but other than that, just keep them with other goldfish. Next up, we have another common pet store fish, the common or sailfin pleco. These guys start off small and cute, but can grow to monstrous proportions, having a 2-foot max length. For that reason alone, they may struggle to fit into a small community tank setting. Like the goldfish, they are a messy fish that produce a lot of waste. For that, I wouldn't recommend them, as people often put them into their tanks in the first place to clean it up, specifically to eat the algae. If you want to try out a pleco, I'd recommend starting off with a bristlenose pleco. They stay relatively small and are a peaceful fish. In short, the common pleco is on this list because it's often sold as a beginner-friendly algae-eating fish while having the capability to grow to 2 feet and be extremely messy. In the number 8 spot, we have the rainbow shark. I really like the rainbow shark. However, I would be lying if I said it makes a good community aquarium tank mate. They can get relatively large, maxing out at about 6 inches. This isn't too bad, as they are comfortable to live within a 55-gallon tank. However, what puts them here is their temperament. Rainbow sharks often get more and more aggressive as they age. They are known to claim territories at the bottom of your tank, as they are a bottom-dwelling fish. Because of this, the rainbow shark will chase off any other fish that enter into its territory. Other bottom-dwelling fish, like cories, loaches, and other catfish, cannot live with rainbow sharks for this reason. Other sharks, like redfin and bala sharks, are also not a good option, as they will harass each other, often to the point of death. Rainbow sharks are a popular aquarium fish, but they often create temperament problems in your tank, so they are here in the number 8 spot. Angelfish are a hobbyist favorite. They are beautiful, have a unique shape, and are great for breeders who want to breed them. However, they are cichlids at the end of the day, so they are a semi-aggressive fish. They can pick out targets to chase and harass, similar to the rainbow shark. For that, the angelfish need a large tank with plenty of space for every individual to claim its own territory. Even then, you will have angels chasing each other out of their territories, as well as other fish. Angels also have their long flowing fins that can be nipped on by fin nippers such as tiger barbs, which further limit their tank mates. Angelfish are beautiful fish, but they often are best if they're kept in a large species-only tank. Hey, real quick, I wanted to thank you guys for watching. If you made it here, please consider liking and subscribing. Anyways, back onto the video. Giant Danios are next on the list. From my personal experience with these guys, they are a fast-moving, nippy fish. I had these guys living with a school of my leopard Danios, and they ended up chasing and nipping all of their fins. This definitely presents a problem for fish that have large fins. These guys also move fast. They will be constantly on the upper levels of your tank, darting around and chasing each other. For that, they need a large amount of space. It's said these guys need a 30-gallon minimum tank, but I would disagree. I'd say a 40 minimum, and even that is pretty small. But in general, I don't think the giant Danio is horrible, but I don't think it's a good community fish choice. Next, we have the cutest little psychopaths you've ever seen, the pea puffer. Don't let their small size and cute faces fool you. These guys are borderline evil. The pea puffer can be little bullies. The general rule of thumb for a pea puffer is to provide it 5 gallons per pea puffer. Otherwise, they will kill each other. They are extremely territorial fish, especially with other pea puffers. Another tough thing about the pea puffers is their diet. They only eat live or frozen foods. Snails, bloodworms, brine shrimp, and blackworms are all great choices. It's important to give them crunchy shell snails to help grind down their teeth. Your pea puffers may have a hard time getting to the food if you have them with other fish in the tank, as they are pretty slow swimmers. Their previously mentioned small size will also make them a meal for a lot of larger sized fish. For all these reasons, it's recommended to only have them by themselves and maybe with each other. Overall, they make terrible community tank mates. In number 4, we have the first of 2 barbs on the list, the rosy barb. Rosy barbs, in my eyes, are very similar to another barb on this list we will get to soon, mainly in that they are notorious fin nippers. Rosy barbs can grow up to 2.5 inches. They also require a school of at least 6. They are very easy fish to care for and great for beginners. That is, if you have them by themselves. If you add anything else to the tank, especially a long-finned fish like a betta or angel, then you might as well say goodbye to those fins. This is really their only fault, but they are bad fin nippers, so they aren't a good tank mate in my eyes. For the third worst community aquarium fish, we have my least favorite fish of all time, the Chinese algae eater. These guys are a fish that are very common in pet stores. They are sold as small 2-inch babies, but can quickly grow into 6 inches. This wouldn't be too bad, only requiring a 30-gallon minimum, but what really puts them here is their temperament. My experience with this fish is that it will choose specific tank mates to constantly harass. They are extremely bad at chasing other fish, to the point where they often cause a fish to die of stress. I've also seen them eat the slime coat of other fish, which is another bad feature of these guys. Top this all off with the fact that they aren't great algae eaters and you have a terrible community fish. Do not get these fish. In second place for the worst community aquarium fish, we have the other barb on this list, the tiger barb. You probably saw this one coming from a mile away, especially because it's in the thumbnail, but the tiger barb is not a great option for a community tank. They are notorious fin nippers, even worse than the rosy barb. Unlike the rosy barb, these guys are also known to have bullying behavior. Tiger barbs will often push around slower moving and smaller tank mates. They even will do this to each other to establish dominance. I wouldn't recommend these fish in general, but if you really wanted a tank of horrible community fish, try them out with the rosy barbs. In summary, they are aggressive, fin nippers, and just all around bad-natured. The tiger barbs land in the number 2 spot. Finally, in the first place for the worst aquarium fish, we have the bala shark. Bala sharks, for one, can grow up to a foot, and they're going to need a school of at least 6. For that, they're going to need a 120 size tank minimum. For a lot of people, that fact alone is enough to put them here. Similar to many fish on this list, You will see them in pet stores at a small size of 2 or 3 inches. People will pick them up and not realize how big these guys actually get. Bala sharks will eat smaller sized fish and are a semi-aggressive fish in nature. They are similar to rainbows in that, at least in my experience, they will chase any other fish that enter into their territories. Bala sharks simply act like much larger rainbow sharks. So for that, they are in the first place spot for the worst community aquarium fish. You'd only have success with these guys in a monster tank setting, which is just not my place in the hobby. I really hope you guys enjoyed my list of the top 10 worst community aquarium fish. Did you agree with me? Was I too harsh on one of these fish? Let me know in the comments below, as I do try to respond to every single one of you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.